And those were your summaries tonight. We are going to be a bit heavy on trade. We begin with this one. A delegation of Tunisian investors in Ghana is in Ghana to explore business opportunities from different sectors, including agric, food, information technology, construction and engineering. Members of the delegation were present at the Tunisia-Ghana Business Forum. Deputy Trade Minister Carlos Ahenkra advocated deeper ties between Ghana and other African economies.
Barring any changes, the much talked about Continental Free Trade Agreement will take effect by the end of 2019. Speaking at the Tunisia-Ghana Business Forum organized by the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, President of the Tunisian Trade Mission, Bassem Lokil, stated investors are willing to tap into government's Ghana Beyond Aid agenda.
Ghana Beyond Aid is the most exhilarating slogan I have heard in a long time. It inspires hope and reveals an unwavering determination and ability to accept sacrifice in order to reach autonomy and therefore liberty and freedom.
Meanwhile, Deputy Trade Minister Carlos Ahenkra has reiterated the need for Ghanaian manufacturers to brace themselves for stiff competition in the advent of the CFTA, which will see African economies export goods and services duty-free. He spoke to Joy Business at the sidelines of the Ghana-Tunisia Business Forum.
People in Nigeria, manufacturers in Tunisia will be able to send their goods here into Ghana without any hindrance. Are we prepared to do the same? And this, of course, is a little warning to our manufacturers in the country that let us start preparing ourselves towards also exporting goods outside.
For these Tunisian investors, of course, having close ties here in Ghana is going to be very key for them in the advent of the Continental Free Trade Agreement. They tell me that opportunities are very rife in Ghana, especially when the economic indicators are very positive.
Ghana, because, well, it's a developing country. It's a new market for us.
We are interested to enter in Ghana markets. So we are here.
A memorandum of understanding will be initiated under the Tunisia-Ghana Trade Mission to foster business partnerships going forward.
High cost of doing business at the port has been identified as an obstacle to the implementation of the trade facilitation agreement signed by members of the World Trade Organization, including Ghana. According to the International Chamber of Commerce Ghana, the development is against the rules of the agreement, which indicates that transacting businesses at the various ports should be done seamlessly without any illegal fee. There is more in the following report.
Trade facilitation agreement was ratified by Ghana in 2017 to enhance trading between the country and other European trade partners. The agreement seeks to promote fair trade among member nations without extra cost. Though government has implemented the paperless port operations and introduced the single window operations, General Secretary of the International Chamber of Commerce, Emmanuel Donikwame, believes that the high cost of doing business at the port is as a result of some illegal fees charged by officials. He notes that such practices undermine the rules of the trade agreement.
Rules are very, very clear. Our discussions have actually been on fees and charges. And from our research, there's a lot that needs to be done. If you look at the fees and charges report, there's a lot that needs to be done. If it's implemented, the bulk of the cost and the fees.
But does that justify the fees and the cost?
That's why I said that in the agreement is clear that every fee charged should be commensurate with the kind of service being delivered. So you cannot charge me a fee by just giving me some sheet of paper. You should prove to me that a service was delivered. Every fee that's charged at the port has to be justified. So there are a lot of illegal fees. There are all kinds of fees are being charged at the port. So we need, I know there's a committee that's looking at that, based on the various reports that are available, to be able to streamline these ones. And a lot also has to do with harmonizing most of our laws, those that have actually set up most of the institutions. We need to harmonize so that there's no duplication, because the agreement is quite clear.
He further noted that the situation affects business transactions at the ports, especially during the festive season.
It's had its impact. We all know the high cost will definitely affect imports, and we all saw it. A lot of people wanted to import, and you realize that for Christmas there was no motivation because of the high fees that people complained about at the ports. And then in as much as we've gone paperless and you could get your goods out quickly, it still comes at a cost.
Meanwhile, Ghana has made an improvement in the implementation of the Trade Facilitation Agreement. Eben Sabote's report for Joy Business.
While still on trade matters, the coordinator of the Third World Network, Dr. Yao Graham, has challenged government to demand a review of the Economic Partnership Agreement should Britain leave the EU. Britain is at a crossroad as it works or figures out how to leave the EU without a good deal. But what would be the implications on trade for Ghana if the Brexit deal is sealed by March? I've been speaking to the Third World Network coordinator, Dr. Yao Graham. I started by asking him about trade relations between Ghana and Britain.
UK is Ghana's, I think, second or third largest import source. Okay, so that they are leaving the EU. For example, raises questions about whether the economic partnership agreements that Ghana has negotiated with the European Union, which has framed UK-Ghana relations, trade relations, both import and export, the standards, which phytosanitary standards, which about agricultural produce, whether they will continue to apply.
Because I was going to ask, how do we position ourselves, to benefit? For instance, you talk about the UK, which is just one country, if I should say, and the EU, which is a group of countries. How do we position ourselves to ensure that we are getting the best deals?
We in Third World Network Africa have always argued that Brexit offers a chance for us to demand, a re-examination of the EPA agreements that we signed, because they presumed a certain European entity. That European entity is not going to be what it was once the UK, which is one of our key trading partners, has left.
I don't know whether you are the right person to ask this, but do you think that our authorities will make those demands? Do you anticipate that move?
Do we as citizens feel that it's important to get our authorities to begin to look in that direction? I think it is. You are right. We don't make policy. But if the government is actually representative of us, and the whole debacle around the EPA, shows how badly this country has been represented on trade issues. And the EPA offers a chance for this government to walk the talk in relation to its interest in industrialization and so on. Because one of the things that's very clear is that the EPAs are bad news for our ability to transform our economies. It just cements us into a kind of raw material commodity export, location. So I think that and Ghanaian businesses also have an interest in asking the government, because the EPAs are negotiated primarily for a very narrow band of agricultural, exporters. People who are engaged in manufacturing for the home and regional market are being hammered by these agreements. So it's an opportunity for all these people to come together to ask the government to take a look, and seize the opportunity to change our relations with Britain, to change our relations with the EU. So Brexit may be a crisis for the UK, but it's an opportunity for us.
All right, Brexit may be a crisis, but there is an opportunity for us. That was Dr. Yao Graham of the Third World Network. If you've been monitoring the news, you know that there is a crucial vote that is supposed to take place in about an hour's time. What would be the impact of Brexit if after this vote and after March on Ghanaians living in the UK? Joining us via Skype is Na Chocho Soyo the First. She is a UK community leader. Thanks for your time tonight. So that vote is set to take place in an hour or over an hour's time. What is the atmosphere there ahead of the vote? Amongst Brits and non-Brits?
I think hello, good afternoon, and good afternoon to your listeners and your viewers. What there is quite apprehension. At 7 o'clock this evening, MPs are starting to think of whether or not to accept Theresa May, the Prime Minister's Brexit deal. And the results will determine whether or not indeed Britain is going to the second referendum or crash out of the EU without a deal. We are all very apprehensive, and I think the general sense in the country as a whole.
But what is the sentiment, the general sentiment amongst Ghanaians living and working in the UK? I'm hearing stories about most of them supporting leave the EU.
Right. There are two dimensions. Obviously, there are Ghanaians who are EU citizens and who benefit from, being citizens of the EU. However, those living in the UK who have naturalized as British citizens or who were born here or indeed who have acquired leave to remain in this country are very apprehensive. The reason being, and I know this is quite simple. One of the reasons people have supported Brexit in that sense is that we see Brexit for the full world step into the gap that will be left by mass exports of.
All right, now to choose the first speaking to us. I want to fix an issue with our audio and video connection. We'll come to you hopefully, but we've been speaking about the crucial vote that is supposed to take place later today on the future of Brexit and what the impact would be on Ghanaians living in the UK. And we'll bring you more on that subsequently. You're still watching Business Live. Now, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, has debunked claims new managers taking over the Electricity Company of Ghana will result in a hike in tariffs. Now, power producers, including the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, is asking for as much as 2 times what is currently charged for transmitting power countrywide, saying it will struggle to operate without that. The PRC, however, says the review will be announced by the 1st of February. The Institute of Energy Security, IS, has also been justifying a review of power tariffs. Migdad Mohammed spoke earlier on the marketplace hosted by Emmanuel Abuajiriafe.
CCG last year they were buying power at 59 cents per kilowatt per hour and we're selling at 42 cents per kilowatt per hour. So for every single transaction ECG embarked on, without even inflationary considerations, without forex considerations, they were losing 17 cents per kilowatt per hour. So the first step is towards paying realistic tariffs. While on the side of the people, consumers, industrial users, they are ensuring that we are not being exploited by cutthroat prices.
Now, Pepe, your calculations as the institute, if you want to stick your neck out, what kind of review do we expect? By how much margins are you expecting? If the PRC should hit?
As now, we have not looked at the specific percentages, but we don't expect, it is not realistic to project 60%. I know it's on the high and it also creates fear among the public, but we expect that in the long term it could go as high as that. But it will start with some progressively. I mean, for the first 3-4 months, we expect they are doing some management shakeups. They are assessing staff strength and seeing the roles they are playing, whether they fit into those roles, whether they have to replace them. They are doing all of that, and then from then they will begin to look at the discussion on tariff.
Now, tonight, investment analyst Mohammed Idrisu has described Pioneer Kitchenware's delisting from the Ghana Stock Exchange as timely. The Ghana Stock Exchange has removed the aluminum and kitchenware manufacturer from the market over failure to comply with listing rules. Mohammed Idrisu tells Joy Business the regulators need to send a strong warning that they would not tolerate such firms on the market.
Taking them off, I'm sure PKF, for the time that was given them, was not able to come up with any strategic, a purposeful strategic plan to be able to make sure that they get out of the breach of the after listing rules of the stock exchange.
For you, do you think that this is
long overdue? We've had these problems with these companies on the market. Do you think it was long overdue?
No, I think that is long overdue. And I still think that there are some companies the stock exchange will still have to investigate and do a lot of audit to make sure that at least even if we have 20 companies listed, that are companies that are making profits, that are companies that are making, at least giving investors some kind of return. You know, all these things add up to affect the volatility on the market. Every slight reduction in profit or in revenues give effect to other companies that are actually doing well because there's no consistency. And this is something the stock exchange have to keep doing and making sure that the companies that are left listed, so that anybody who's coming will not just get up because he wants to raise money, come and raise money and just stay doing nothing.
Mom, what would you tell those who would also argue that companies that have problems, can we help them to come out of the problems and still be on the market? Because this is the time that we're also trying to convince others to come onto the market. The signals could be mixed, that at a time when you want others to come on, you're taking others off. And maybe the market itself is not that vibrant and liquid for all of us. People have raised issues about the Ghana Stock Exchange and whether it's a place to be.
Yeah, what you said is true, but you see, that is why they don't just come and announce it. What the stock exchange does is to give you your warning letter, for which me and you will not even see. Look, this is what we have seen about your company. You have to do this, and that. And when it takes another 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, at least a strategic, there are others that are come up with a strategic plan to get out of it. And by so doing, they have given them the reprieve.
All right, welcome back to Business Live. Now, as I've indicated, we've been running a poll about whether or not the media is to blame for the loss of confidence in the banking sector. In a moment, my colleague Sandra Fenu will be giving you details or the outcome of that poll. You'll be surprised what we are seeing with this poll. But first, I'm told we have to play some of the reactions we are getting from some of you to this matter.
Houses were not able to investigate or research on the actual matter to give the public. And I also believe that next time when there is a case like that, they should investigate and get the actual figures with even statistics. All
right, so that was just one of the people we spoke to. Sandy joins me in studio with what you're saying, Sandy. So what are people saying?
All right, so that is quite interesting. So the question we posed on social media, Facebook for that matter, reads, the Bank of Ghana says gaps in media reportage affected confidence in the banking sector. What do you think of this? Do you think that the media actually contributed to the, as you can see right now on your screens, 64% of those who have been responding to this poll says yes, the media contributed, and then 36% are saying that no, the media didn't contribute to what happened in the banking sector. So that's the poll there on Facebook. You can also, and let's take a comment from Nana Ifrie, and he says if they can't carry their load, they should not blame the media or blame it on the media for that matter. So that's what he's saying. So you can also join the polls on our social media platform. It's on Facebook. Be part of it and say whether yes or no, whether you think that the media in general actually contributed to what happened in the banking sector.
All right, thanks very much. Sunday returns in 2 hours' time with an expanded version of business on JoyNews Prime. That'll be it for Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching. My name is Darryl Kwao.